Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Sorry for that echo. It's Friday. As Mike Batson said, beer open, pants off, time to kick off the weekend. I don't know how anyone else does it, but that's it. But first things first, Malky is first. Bob Franklin and Sorare Juju on the podium. Way to be, you three. Major NFT, hello, happy Friday. Scott Warren said, arrive 40 minutes early and don't get a podium. This feels like Sorare 2024. Too much competition. Podium chasing is getting stupid now. These streams are dead, says Mike Baston. Man, that's harsh. But also true. Scott Warren said, do we know what the 10-9-24 tweet was all about yet? We do not. We don't. MLS Sorare Scout said, if I make the game harder for myself, I'll find more narratives to complain about, thinking of the engagement farming opportunities here. There's always engagement opportunities with complaining. It's wild to me. Just wild. But I guess that's whatever. Boston Sean, what's up? Stefan Halligan said, I've just watched paint dry for 90 minutes. My national team sucks. ZM Star says, that's what she said. The show title. The title of the show would be befitting of a Sorare Andrew stream, which is what Matthew Weeds said, which I actually was going to talk about this with Andy yesterday, but I thought yesterday's show was more appropriate. Peptetta, what's up? Halogen said, I bought Spurs and United collections, so I've definitely made it harder for myself. Wheat Thins, what's up? Good morning. Let's get fighting this weekend. Entered a competition I had no clue how to prepare for. There couldn't have been that much effort to go into like building the optimal fighting contest. Whatever. Bennett, what's up? John Andrews, Vice 91, Anion, Pro Stevo. I think it's Stevo. Maybe it's Stevo. I don't know. What's up? Thanks for coming in. Or if you're always here, thanks again for coming. And you are no longer lurking, so way to be. Alex Wilson and international breaks are yawn. Rikamon said, is it map day? So Rikamon, it's so funny you say that because the answer is maybe. That's sort of the problem though, is, hold on, did I share the right screen here? No, I didn't. Hold on. So I was trying to set up a map and I was trying to do it in a way that I didn't have to do any of the work, but for some reason I can't seem to allow others to edit this. And so like, I'm going to have to drop all the pins and like, I'll do it because I love you guys, but I didn't really want to. Anyway, Ryan Walter, what's up? Thanks for coming in. Krychek. What was the name of that tennis player years, like in the 90s? What was his first name? Wasn't it Krychek? Richard Krychek. Yeah, he was Dutch. Although he spelled it. Oh, no, it is the same. Yeah, he was good. Anyway, Manuel, what's up? How come I arrived late and I'm not on the podium? I deserve to be first. That's a good one. Weaselmon and Dodzilla checking in from Twitch. Thank you guys for coming in. Dario. Ciao. Hussein finally won my first podium in All-Star Limited first place. Wow, that is one of the toughest competitions to win. So congratulations. That is a very big deal. Chani, what's up? Thanks for dropping in and watching. I don't know if I got to Rikomon already, but the eyes emojis are good enough. Scott Warren, Adam Golden. Pro Steva said, this is the first time I've been in. I've watched some of your past streams. The last one I watched was with you and Nepenthes, which I enjoyed. Nep will be back next week on Monday. In case you didn't see when you were on YouTube. Monday, me, Nepenthes, PSU fans too. Let's go. Why is you guys are saying Richard about Krychek. Sorry, I was like, why is everybody saying Richard? Anyway, Red or Dead, what's up? That's right, he was Dutch. Won Wimbledon in 92. Look at that, you guys are on top of the, who did he beat in the 92 final? Was it American or was it like Goran Ivanisevic or something? 1992 Wimbledon final. Let's see. Survey says it was oh no, wait a minute. 92, Agassi defeated Ivan Isavic. No Richard Krajicek. Come on, guys. Come on. Krajicek won Wimbledon in 1996, beating Mal Washington. Oh, I remember that. Sorry, I used to be a tennis nut back in the day. And I'm actually going to the US Open final on Sunday. But yeah, man, that was some really fun throwbacks. Anyway, Bogdan, what's up? Shaforkal, Tom, thanks for coming in. ZM Star, my Sorare data sub just renewed. You're stuck with me for another year. Honestly, thank you very much for that. I don't know if you are a Sorare data member because of how much you use Sorare data, whether it's like the lineup builder or now the export button or all the other tools and features that we have that I think are well worth the price of the membership. But if you actually don't use any of it and you just subscribe because you know that it helps all of the content that happens here on YouTube or Twitch, I appreciate that as well. Whatever the reason is, thank you very much. Simo, what's up? If anybody hasn't caught? Yeah, if anybody hasn't caught this week's Make It a Double-Double, it was a good one. Just saying. Sorare tennis has strong support here, it seems. I would like 90s and 2000s tennis. I basically just fell off the face of the tennis map years ago. And I think pretty much when Nadal finally broke down, like really broke, like when he actually started to break down, not this last like 8 years where he's just playing broken. That's when I stopped. I was always a Nadal guy though. And never really appreciated it. Not that I didn't appreciate Roger Federer, but I just wasn't a Federer guy. Anyway, Luis, thanks for coming in. Quinny, who I'm also trying to get next week. Rasko Misaki. Ryan said the honeydews aren't the same, but the froze ones are still amazing. I don't even know. What does that mean? Did I miss a comment that you guys started talking about something else? Anyway. Luis said, I do it, meaning subscribe to Sorare Data for the complete bundle. The shows are just part of it. That's great. Thank you for doing that. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Weezemon said, I think I spend more time on Sorare Data than I do my other half. Yeah. Mike Baston, Make It a Double-Double was a bit ropey this week. Yeah. John said the Henman era was when I was really into tennis. Wow. Toby, hello. Jordan, when subs on Twitch? I'm not sure. I don't think we have nearly enough like actual subs there. ZM Star said, I use it like crazy, but I just want to support everything you guys do from the content perspective as well. Once Twitch lets you accept subs there, I will give you my free Prime sub. That's awesome. Thank you very much. That really means a lot. It really does. Tom said, how boring would Sorare tennis be in that era? Nadal, Federer, Novak, Murray, only cards you need. Get out of here saying, all right, I'm going to go on one little like rant about tennis and then we can move on. Hello, Peter. Andy Murray has no right being in that threesome. Like it's 4 with him, but Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic were vastly superior tennis players to Andy Murray. And he just gets put in that group because he was the next best and he was better than everyone else. But there was not a group of 4. It was 3, Murray, and everyone else. Multi-anti-erotic racket mint. That's good. ZM Star, I know what you're doing and it's going to work, but please. And Mike, you're right. Djokovic wasn't even that good back then. Yeah, he had to wait till everybody was broken in order to get all of his titles. Wow, Robin Soderling stan. How about that? Toby, that makes sense. Vita, what's up? Who is your favorite tennis player? So Rob, fun fact, I was a huge Sampras guy, which is funny because like there was no reason for me to like him, but I actually still have like the racket that not that he used himself, but like the racket that he used, I also used, and I didn't play anything like him. I was much more like I played tennis until I was like through high school. So about 19. And Quinny, like this is not Andy Murray blasphemy. It's Andy Murray truth. Like it's stop. Just stop. And so, yeah, I was a big Agassi guy. I actually really love Michael Chang, who somebody brought up earlier. Like American players were very good back then. Gael Monfils, that he was really fun too. ZM Star said, I was a Sampras guy, but as I aged, realized Agassi was much better. The Sampras was just so good at the net that, like, not that it wasn't fair, but he's just tough to win. Rob's exactly right. Murray British when he wins, Scottish when he loses. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, appreciate those throwbacks. If you guys wanted, I'm not going to do the map of the Del Potro U.S. Open. Yeah, who did he beat? Did he beat Nadal? He was fun. He's another one that just broke down too early, which was disappointing. And Leighton Hewitt, as Sorare Highwell brings up, I like read something about Leighton Hewitt the other day. Maybe I was looking up at Agassi. Oh, maybe that's exactly what it was. I think so. There's an American. No, that can't be right. Maybe it was something about how there was an All-American semifinal at the U.S. Open, and the last time that happened, Agassi won it and then went on to beat Hewitt in the final, something like that. I don't know. The glory days of Wimbledon crowd going, come on, Tim. Yeah, those are. I mean, yeah, that's like, I think going to Wimbledon and like in watching a Wimbledon final is like the peak of my sports wish list by far. There's like nothing I would rather do and see in person than a Wimbledon final. John Andrews said, wasn't Hewitt dating Kim Clijsters? I think that's correct. Yeah. Andy said was always more of an Anna Kournikova guy, but you all do you. Speaking of Russian tennis players, the last time I went to the U.S. Open, and to prove how long it's been, it was a night session, and I saw Andy Murray play in the first match, and then Maria Sharapova in the second. Actually, they might have switched. Jonas Bjorkman, yeah, he was really good, Toby. Yeah. Boston Sean said, last tennis match I watched was Bjorn Borg, which proves how old you are. Yeah, anyway. Pro Steve said, can I ask for Sorare advice on here from you and others? Absolutely. You can always ask. Always ask. I could go like hours on 90s and early 2000s tennis, so we should probably move on right now. I appreciate Steve-O for getting us there. Malky said paddle's the future, though. You can fit 2 paddle courts in the space it takes to build 1 tennis court. Yeah, it's pickleball here in the US. So today's topic, or do we do the map? I really don't want to do the map. Like, I don't want to do the work to do the map. If somebody else wants to do the map, that would be great. But it also requires everybody in the chat to say where you're watching from. And maybe you guys just don't want to be exposed like that. You never know. There's a wonderful anonymity, excuse me, to Sorare, that nobody really knows where everybody is or anybody's like real name. I happen to be one that uses their real name, but there are actually, there were actually a few people who I was talking to about getting new people on the show. And I reached out to a few people just as guests to find out what they had. And there are a number of people in the community who just prefer to stay not like unknown, but they just don't feel like being known to everybody. And Sorare and Web3, like, it allows that, and I completely respect that. And so I appreciate everybody who's like checking in. Malky's asking if I'm from Brazil. I'm very much not from Brazil. I was born in New York City and grew up there. Josh XL said, catching up, so I'm behind Andy Murray's to the big 3, what literally any player is to Messi and Ronaldo for the past 20 years. Yeah. And yes, thanks for coming in. Yeah, I agree with Josh there. But what do we got here? Sligo, Ireland, or is it Sligo? I don't know. Alex is in London. Mike's in the garden. Guatemala. Let's go, Luis. Scotland. Yeah. Massachusetts by way of Dublin. Kennedy's in Chicago. How about that? Anyway, Jordan's in Amsterdam. Ben's in Nottingham. Parrot Press in the house. Uganda. Let's go. Man, now I got to do the map. Halogen says, so the Eno in your name is a lie. I guess so. Yes. All right, guys. Now you're making me do the map. This is really annoying because I think this is fine. But here's the Richard Krychek I was looking up for us. All right. Let's see what we got here. Let me scroll up. This is like the total opposite of what I was going to do today. Like I actually had something I was going to talk about, but I guess that's classic. So what do we do with like generic ones, like Weaselmont saying Scotland? Do I just like let the map Scotland, UK? Oh boy. Yeah. Add to map. I don't even need to add. Luis is in Guatemala. Sorry, I didn't need to keep that on there. This is going to take too long. But here we are. Alex is in London. Sorry for anybody who's listening to this. It's got to be really, really boring just to hear me typing and randomly saying words that go on a map. Pavel's basement. I wonder where that is. I think Pavel is Polish. Boston Sean is in Massachusetts. I won't even expose you to say that you're in Boston. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Add to map. ZM stars in Cape Coral, Florida. That sounds fun and warm. I'm not even sure I'm actually adding these. Oh, Andreas is in Copenhagen? Let's go. I really got to make it to Copenhagen at some point. It's kind of absurd that I haven't. John Andrews is in Atlanta, outside Atlanta, but I'll just give you Atlanta. Kampala, Uganda. Everywhere else seems very boring now that we have somebody in Uganda, which I kept calling Uganda for some reason. All right, getting through it. County Durham, England. Way to be, Rob. Nico says north of France. How do we take that? Like there's a lot north of France. Like plenty, but Nico, you're going to have to help us out here. Anthony is in Serbia. Jesp is in Leicester. I really appreciate you guys doing this. This actually makes me feel much better that I'm doing it. But again, this would have been a lot better had you guys just been able to put your pins is the word I was looking for. South Shields, add to map. Fabian is in Erfurt, Germany. I was about to say I've heard of that, as if I've heard of it. MLS Soar Scout said also in Mike's garden. Soar Wakey is in Chepstow, near Bristol. Okay. That's funny that you say near Bristol as if like that means anything to me. Anaheim, John Good, what's up? It's a fun name, John Good. Bogdan is in Romania. Oops. I love just the generic Romania as if it's like a tiny little place. T. Jesus is in Portugal, which for some reason the middle of the map puts us in the water. That's a weird one. Oh my God, I'm really far behind. Malky, did I get Prague already? I don't even know. Wherever my VPN says. In Norway, watching a horrendous Norway team draw against Kazakhstan, says Fraxi. All right, we'll just go with the generic Norway. Add to map. Oh, I like this. Pro Steve, who's the best player you've ever watched in football that you were able to watch live? It's a great question. I would say, so like, my problem is that most of my experiences have been here in the States. And as you can imagine, like, there are not that many great players I've seen here. I would say one of the most impressive players I've ever seen live was William Saliba. I'm not saying he's like the greatest player ever, but on a Sorare trip to Marseille, we saw a match, and his ability to move as well as he does at his size was like astonishing to me. Like, I thought he was really, really, really good. Anyway, who is that? Ahmed said they're in Bern. And I agree with Mike. We are making it harder than it needs to be. Used to vacation. Oh, wait, sorry. Vienna, Austria. Oh my gosh. Bob Franklin is in Vienna, Austria, but Bob is not my name. That's kind of an interesting thing to say you're Bob Franklin, but then, like, that's a very generic name for it to not be your actual name. Does that make sense? Weaselmont said Glenn. I'm not sure. I should actually try to keep pronouncing that. Anyway. Limpy for the map Venray in the Netherlands. That's fun. Neil is also in Portugal. I'd like to go to Portugal soon. SG Lee's in Cardiff. Familiar with that. Am I remotely? See, this would just be, yeah, agreed, Mike. This is going to be a long one. And this is not fun content for anybody. And it's also a lot of work. I say this a lot of work for me. Can you believe how dramatic I'm being? Pete is in Washington, D.C., which I've heard of. Lillehammer, hello. Sorry, I'm not even showing the, oh my God. Put the dot on Aberdeen for Weaselmont. Why would I do that? Did I already do Bonn? I don't even remember. I'm so far behind now. This is where I should have gotten somebody else to do this. And instead, you guys are making me do it. Oh, Nico Milo says in Cambrai. I can't imagine that's how you pronounce it. But I would say that is just France, not... Ooh, Gladbach. Let's go. Munching Gladbach. Oh, wow. What do we got here, guys? Whew. Ko Phangan in Thailand. What time is it there? Oh, wow. Look at this. What's going on here? Oh, my goodness. Just like out in the water there. That's fun. Thanks for coming in. I wouldn't even know how to pronounce that. This one I can pronounce, Faro. Although maybe it's Farah. Oak Harbor, Washington. As I spell harbor wrong. Zootert, another Amsterdam here. That's all right. Riverside, California, Vice 91. Let's go. I need to do a European tour and watch my Sorare players live, says Luis. I would love to do that. Like, the problem with it is that it's not a quick thing. Like, you can only watch, like, because so many matches are during the weekend. It's the difficulty is, like, to really make it a big tour, you're gonna have to take like a month. And yes, I see the Twitch comments. TJ Seuss or Jesus. We got another one in Chicago. See, you guys should meet up. Pisa, Italy. Hell yeah. That's fun. All right. Yo, Laird, I'm in Portlaw, Ireland, but from Sydney. That's fun. Now I just feel lied to that Peter Krychek is in Glasgow. How does that work? Ooh, Stuttgart. Honestly, people who listen to this who like just listen and aren't watching me just randomly put names on a map are surely confused about what's going on. I really do try to describe what I'm doing. Did I put Middlesbrough in already? Oh, I just did. Louis said, I think YouTube gives you a demographic of your views. Wouldn't that help? While you are there, we can also see if there's another Guatemalan trainer. It does, but it's not really that helpful. And it's not very exact. It's just like there's a site called Little Atlas. Now you tell me? Anyway, I'm catching up. Andy Murray would have been like the mid-table stack that wins when the big teams don't smash. He never won, right? When they were all playing? Maybe. ZM Star says Breck Shea is the best player they ever saw. Hayden Ben Arfa. Wow. Mascherano, Liverpool. Is that okay? Sorry, I thought. Matthew, he's in Singapore. I think there's somebody else in Singapore. I don't remember who though. Toby said I saw the mighty Harry Maguire's debut for United live. Wow. Speaking of Harry Maguire, Josh Excel's checking in from Manchester, as in Netherlands. This is fun. I take that back. I appreciate you guys doing this. You should have just done a tiny URL bit.ly trial, shorten a Sorare data link, and ask everyone to click it. For what, Andy? For the map? Maybe. Did I? Oh my God, I'm not even close to catching up. All right, I'll do that later. While Laird is dropping pins in the map, take some time to like this stream, says Limpy. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you guys should do that. Unless Sorare Scout, quote, stop making it harder than it has to be, unquote, manually adds everyone's location one by one. Just Mike, I was just talking about you the other day. Maybe it was yesterday as you check in from the Dominican Republic about your love of super rares. Another haul at a time. All right, I'm just going to skip. Apologies if Pizza, can you recall where I live or should I type it? I do, but I didn't want to like expose you if you didn't want to be exposed. That's all. Major NFT Canada. I mean, Canada's huge. We can do better. Where do you think the pin drops when I just write Canada? That's probably what we should have done. Search Canada. Where is this? Somewhere in the middle of Saskatchewan. I wonder why. You think it's like the middle geographically? I don't know. Anyway, that's where our this is where everybody is. That's fun. Oop. So there you go. Pro Steve said, have you ever heard of the country Nauru? It's one of the smallest countries in the world, has a population around 10,000 people. Simon said, next we do another with people saying where they wish they were. I would just like to have somebody else do this next week. I agree, Rob. Why wouldn't they just drop it in the capital? Yeah. I don't know. Holty missed the map. Holty, where are you? Fraxy said, I'm the most north. Well, for now. Let's see if anybody like northern Finland comes in, or Iceland. You never know. Yeah, you never know. So now that we did the difficult thing and have a bunch of dots on a map, is that line the equator? This is the equator right here. It's a very northern hemisphere centric map. As I misspell Plymouth for Chris. Yeah, where is the southern hemisphere? I mean, like I know where it is, but where is everybody who? The closest we no. Oh, wow, that is like right on the hemisphere, right on the equator, isn't it? Why do I keep? No, I lost the. Uganda's pretty close. Anyway, should we talk about a topic today? I actually really meant to do that today. Now you guys have me 30 minutes in, and all we've been doing is playing with a map. Major NFT says I like a bit of anonymity. All right, so you can take Saskatchewan. That's fine. Add to map. Anyway, Boston Sean said the Southern Hemisphere is sleeping. Pro Steva says I'm from Bulgaria. Are you there though? Or Limpy said 2-hour stream incoming. It might be. Mulkey said off topic, which is funny since have we even had a topic yet? But do you think it's worth playing classic rare or limited in season? Both seem quite equal in my eyes in the sense that you are paying to play against fewer players. I think it's just a matter of what you want to do. If you want to win cash, I would play limited in season. Vice said 30 minutes off topic is a low amount of time compared to the other shows. See, that's not fair because I feel like we at least start with a topic and then we go off topic. I couldn't even get off topic today because we never actually started. And I really wanted to talk about this today, but you guys with your maps and everything. Major NFT said, best thing I've sold almost all my super rares and not for free. Well, that's great. And Mike used all this time to set up MLB lineups, which I had to do before this show. Bulgaria, is that the most Eastern? Maybe. Depends where you guys are in Bulgaria or Romania. Oop. Although I guess if we go really east, it's everybody in Thailand. Tennis maps, what's next? Oh, Adam. I think somebody else was in Prague. You guys should go hang out. I forget who it was. Another one for Aberdeen. Josh said, I'm pretty sure there are far more lineups in Classic Rare than in season limited. I think the comparison was Classic Limited versus Classic Rare, not necessarily those two, but you're right. Anyway, let's talk about today's topic. You map whores. Jeez. Anyway, there's been a lot of talk, and I've obviously contributed a ton of it this week about classic competitions and whether they're getting harder or they're nerfed or they're dead. Major NFT said, by the way, thanks again for the button. It may have saved my marriage, which is great. That's just great. Imagine only having to pay 100 euros a year to save your marriage. Mulkey said, I still find it hard to justify paying more for limiteds than rares. Yeah, that's true. But get over it. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is in light of everybody. Lots of people are getting frustrated right now because classic competitions feel like they're super hard because sorry, there was a comment in the chat that threw me off. The number of rewards that are being distributed in terms of card rewards seems to be down, and that's because of the increase in essence or boxes that they're rewarding that include essence that can then turn into cards. And so I think the high scores recently that we've seen from competitions are making people think that the game is becoming increasingly impossible. I think there's a feeling that it's too hard to win. And instead of trying to figure out ways to win, it's just much easier to complain about it and hope that Sorare fixed the problem for us. And Peter said here, they're giving out more star limiteds and tier ones, not including essence, than in the old gameplay. And it's just funny to me because it feels like the complaints are really about the reduction of bad card rewards, tier 4s and tier 5s, tier 3, 4, and 5. And everyone's like, no, I'd rather just win that than essence that I can build up and turn that into a tier 1. And really, they're not really saying that. What they're saying is they want the tier 4s and 5s and they want essence in order to craft cards. But it just doesn't, like, I don't see this drastic reduction in rewards affecting the gameplay, which is why I don't think that there's a drastic reduction in rewards. They're just, maybe they're distributed differently, but that's not even the topic for today. What I really wanted to get into, sorry. Toby said people complaining about not winning the rewards they used to complain about winning is hilarious to me. That's a nice way to put it. Anion said, I have to say it again, but having the option to get essence for consistently scoring all right, not even special, is insane. You can get a tier 1 for scores that probably earlier only gave you sometimes a tier 4 and 5. Yeah, I think people just kind of not even misunderstand that you could win a star with 20 essence. It's just unlikely. And because they see other people do it and they don't do it, they're just like, oh, it doesn't happen. Yeah. Major NFT said the game was always going to change and the health of the game requires people to buy new cards. And Vita says, feels like people didn't jump in the in-season train when it was easy to do. Now it's harder. There's plenty of implications, though. I think in-season is still much easier than Classic in terms of getting a comparable value. But a part of that is because card prices are down. Fraxy said, I think Essence is just more anticlimactic, making the rewards more boring. So tier 4s and 5s were never exciting. And I think that the issue is that Essence is just delayed climactic rewards. And people don't like that. But it also allows you to use, like, instead of, like, nobody's getting excited when they open 5 tier 5 rewards, whether that's in 1 game week or 10 game weeks or 50 game weeks. And so you take this lack of excitement about those rewards and you just kind of change it. Now you're getting essence, where at some point you could be opening a tier 1. And that excitement is much more than continuously grinding like getting low level rewards. Hilo said, Essence pull is very individual. One person could have a great experience with it and another can have a terrible one. So I actually don't even feel like terrible Essence experiences are that bad, because, and please don't, like, take that out of context, but, like, people's terrible Essence experiences are crafting at the lowest level and then getting a low level card because it's the most probable outcome. And I don't necessarily think that's terrible. Like, obviously they're disappointed they didn't get the 1% outcome, but I'm not sure that's like that. Like, if you go in with the lowest threshold, like lowest, what the hell do they call them? It's not a threshold level, is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. But if you go to craft at the T5 level and you get a T5, like, you should know that that's the likely outcome. It's okay to, like, hope that you get the star, but, like, being upset that you didn't, I think it's again one of those situations where I know people, like, don't want to hear, like, the truth, but, like, that's what it is. Josh said people miss winning cards even though they hated it when they won bad rewards. Maybe. Vita said it required a gallery transformation. Doing that now that the classic prices have plummeted is much harder than it was 6 months ago. So you're totally right. And I believe part of that transition now is harder because classic prices have gone down because of the introduction of Essence in season. Like, I think that I really think that's being underestimated. Like, that was an underestimated result by Sorare, and that's why I think people are really upset. Anion said, What I have to say though, for the future, I think Classic needs some change to allow more difference, because at some point most have 15% bonus on cards, and then it's only who enters first. I don't think we're that close to that. There's still so many lineups you can do. ZM Star said, I think because no one understands the money, the dollar amount of essence is worth. The dollar amount of one essence is worth. I see some people put values on champ essence. Not sure if the math was right on that one. I think all of the essence value calculations are just, every single one of them I see is just missing like a giant point. And Peter has brought this up a few times, but basically, like, when you craft a card really affects the value of the essence. Crafting a card in September, like crafting the same card in September versus March is way different, even though it could be the same card. Like the essence value is not the same. Sorry, my chat like got all messed up here. Major NFT said, I've come around to understanding this is a hamster wheel, always moving to in-season, but unlike playing EA, FIFA, I own the players outside the game. Tier milestone? You might be right, Bob. Major NFT said, you have to accept this as a game, not a way to retire. Maybe. I'd like to retire because of this one day. Moochie said, I think it's Moosey. People buy the best players out there and then are upset that they aren't winning better cards. It's crazy they don't understand scouting. So actually, that was going to be part of the conversation yesterday with Andy about what you paid for a card doesn't matter. Is that what it was called? But I do think there is an expectation about that if you go out and you buy the absolute best players and then you don't win other best players, you're upset. And I agree that that's kind of like not a misunderstanding of the game, but it's lazy and it's beatable. And there are enough people on the platform who can beat those lineups. And so that actually has been a conversation for years, where it's like, if you go out and you buy like the best cards, what can your level of excitement be winning other best cards when you're just like, oh, I could just go buy those? And I'm not saying this is like the wrong way to play, but it was kind of always an interesting thing to me. That was like, is a card that you can buy is a card that you can buy as a reward that rewarding? And I don't know. I guess it just depends on the person. John said, when traders aren't interested in some decent classic cards, the game has changed. Every situation like that is different, though. Like if they have 3 of them, like they don't want another one. Mulkey said, I think people are panicking because they're being told they need the best, most expensive cards to succeed. But as Black said yesterday, it's often the lineups you don't expect to win that do win. Did Andy really say that? Peter said, I still think it's the challenger contender cards utility have fallen far more than champion. And that's a huge change from when most people were introduced to the platform. And that's tough. So that was one of those things that like surely we should have seen coming. Like, hey, you can no longer use Cecina to win Mbappe. And everyone's like, oh yeah, sure. And now like contender cards are falling drastically. Peter, you might have this, but like, is the value of a star contender card like a tier 3 in champ? Or I don't even want to say prem because it's different. But we'll see. Toby said essence value calculations decrease literally daily. Graham said this subject has been done to death this week. So yeah, Graham, that's not what I was looking to get into today. The point of the show today, or at least what I wanted to start talking about, because it doesn't feel like a lot of people have touched on this, is there's the group of people who saw the changes that Sorare announced and decided that they were not going to change right away, and that they were going to see how the game played out and then make adjustments from there. And I think those people were at a significant disadvantage to those who made their changes earlier, because while card prices may have been going down, the cards that they were holding also went down. And so it's just harder to adjust at this point. And I have said this on the channel a couple times, but basically the whole, like, you need to sit down, or you needed to sit down after these announcements and say, do I still want to play this game? And if the answer is no, then you take the appropriate steps to do that. And so one example is like Haber, who was very outspoken. How he really liked Rare Pro, and which then became Rare Plus, and he had the super rares for it, and basically sold out all of his super rares. I think he's actually sold most of his gallery. But he looked at the new game and was like, that's not a game that I think I will enjoy as much as I used to. And so he did something about it. And there are a lot of people on the platform who looked and they said, I don't know if this is a game that I want to play, and did nothing about it, continued to play, and now lose because their galleries are still set up for a Sorare that doesn't exist anymore. And so they're not even the subject of today. They're not making the game harder for themselves because they're not actually trying. They're just hoping that something happens on Sorare that allows the cards that are not helpful in their gallery right now to become helpful. And I think there's a lot of negativity that comes with that, because it's easy for them to then blame Sorare or blame people like me who talk about Sorare, and that the game is broken and then there's nothing that will be able to get us back to where we were, while they sit there and do nothing. But that's not who I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about today is people who think they are doing, I don't even want to say that they're doing a road to glory, because that I get. But it's the number of people who have decided to try to attack Sorare in a certain way that is unlikely to be successful, and then get upset when it's unsuccessful. And so the number of people who I've seen recently who are like, oh, I'm going to find like this terrible stack. And this is a strategy that, like, we've talked about for years as being viable. The problem is, I think there's like this misunderstanding of the actual viability of these strategies. And it happened years and years ago, like one of the first shows that PSU Fans 2 did with me, talking about his Chicago Fire stack. And he was like, these are cheaper cards, but in the right week, they could really pay off. And when they do, it's great. And there was no like guarantee that it was going to work, but it makes sense. And I think the problem is that a lot of people think that they can emulate that strategy by using kind of lazy tactics. And then when it doesn't work, because they either it's actually a bad, like the team they chose is actually just so bad, or B, they just don't give it enough time. And so then it becomes like a Sorare's to blame. And that's where a lot of the negativity stems from. And I'm not saying everybody who's upset at Sorare is like experiencing this, but there does seem to be a continued voice of people who did nothing to change their situation and are expecting Sorare to bail them out. And I'm not saying this is most people. I'm not saying it's a lot of people, but it's a few loud people. And that just gets everybody else going. And that's when that's like when we start talking about like perception. And they're like, well, the game looks harder, so it's harder. And it's like, I really struggle. I really struggle with that. And that's like a me problem. But like this game takes work. It's not an easy game. It's very hard to be super successful at it. And that's what makes part of it so rewarding. When you finish first, I apologize, I forget who it was who won all-star rare or limited who was here earlier. Like beating tens of thousands of lineups is a huge deal and very hard. And so we should celebrate those when we win, but also recognize that it's hard. Like this game is not easy. And it used to be easy when we had thresh 205 and 250. Like it was just easy to win money. And that part of the game is gone. And I think we need to get a few people who are really struggling with just blaming Sorare that their cards that they bought at another time were both A, more valuable, and B, stronger in the game, that are not now. And it's like, okay, let's do something about that, because not doing something about that literally will only make this continuously worse, because we've learned that for the most part, card prices are going down. And that's because the way the game works, we always talked about how prices were so dependent on utility. And it seems like a lot of them were actually highly dependent on short-term utility. Is this guy hurt? Yes. All right, his price goes down. And now we're starting to consider longer-term utility. And obviously, the longer you go, you realize like every single game week is one fewer week that you can play that card. And that's where we are now. So we need to change the way that we think about our cards. And I'm going to catch up on the chat in a second, but I'm going here. So the other thing that I've been struggling with myself, because I have not only made choices to my gallery that are surely detrimental to me being successful in this game, but I actually keep digging deeper on them. Shout out to the Ren 2021 collection. And I know that I'm making that part of the game harder for myself. I also think that's a different part of the game that I've accepted that I just don't think a lot of people care about. Like me owning a complete set of something doesn't affect anyone else. And that's a kind of part of the fun of the game for me. Like some people will think about, how much cash they've won. And so maybe they have this pile of cash somewhere that they were like, this is what I won on Sorare. And the way that I have actually been thinking of it is when I do win either cash or cards and I sell the cards, whatever it is, I can use those to turn into things that I want, like more cards in this Ren collection. Like that's something that I'm doing as a collector. You can call it dumb all you want. It probably is. But that's actually how I spend my winnings. Ren, Midtjylland, River Plate. Like I have actually like become a collector of those cards, not for the collection game. And obviously that's a nice benefit, but like I like that challenge basically of being able to acquire the older cards. The newer cards, I think, like the collection, the idea of like a true collection game is like exciting to me. And that's why I like that this Ren collection I have, and basically Ren and River Plate are like my two main ones. And then Midtjylland, I just have cards everywhere. But like the collecting like an old collection, like it takes work, and like finding jersey mints or one-ofs or rookie cards and stuff like that. Like that's a cool part of the game for me. And me winning through my SO5 lineups allows me to like spend my money on that. Like I totally appreciate there are people who play Sorare and they, win money and they withdraw it. Maybe back in the day you bought an apartment or something. Now maybe you can go on a vacation, go out to dinner, whatever it is. Like that's what you won that money and this is what you want to spend your money on. I just want to spend my money on other cards. Like I've been collecting physical cards my entire life I did when I was younger. And I still have them. And like that part is cool to me. And so that wasn't even the point I was going to make. And now I've actually forgotten the point that I was going with that. Oh, man. I guess I'll just... this wasn't the point I was going to make. However, we'll go back to the whole, like, people who are trying to win on a budget. Now, I'm not here to be like, just go out and buy the most expensive cards. But there is a there is a strategy to doing those sorts of builds. How cheap can I do this? And it's more than just, let me just buy a bunch of crappy players and see if it hits. And it feels like a lot of the low budget strategies work that way. And then when they don't work out, I remember what I was going to say. When those strategies don't work out, it's Sorare's fault. So the introduction of in-season competitions changed the game, like obviously. And just the way that Sorare have acted since the introduction of in-season, which is go buy in-season cards. Like everything that it seems like that they do is with a push to make us want to buy in-season cards. That's their revenue stream. Like, I get it. Previously, we were playing a game where you bought cards and you could use those cards to win more cards forever. And sometimes you could put together a few crappy cards and win some cash, and that was always fun. But there was this underlying idea, which like I never really thought about, but I'm sure I had it also, that I bought all these cards to compete in all these contests, and one day I would sell those cards, hopefully for more, like when they retired. Which, what like saying out loud, is absurd. But that's kind of what we thought. We always thought that like there was a time where we bought cards and values went up. And we either were like, all right, let me take a profit on these cards, or I'll just keep playing. And the introduction of in-season competitions, which require in-season cards, put us on a much tighter time frame of making our money back. And what I kind of find interesting is the number of people who are concerned about the value of their in-season cards later in the season, when they have significantly less utility, or even when they just become classic cards. And it's all said with this idea of, or this belief that these cards will maintain their value forever. And that's not how the game works now. And that's not like a now thing. Like I did a show with Surfula, and I think Keith Gator Guy was there too, basically about how we yield from cards is different now. And this was months ago, that what you win is how you yield from cards now. It's not just like, can I sell this card forever? And so what I find kind of funny for all of these people who are concerned about how much cards cost now and what they'll be worth in March is, what if all we thought about was how much we could win from our cards? And obviously in-season cards have kind of not extra utility, but like they give you the opportunity to win cash now, and they give you the opportunity to win cards later. I mean, you could also win cards with them now, but it feels like we have gone from, when I'm done with this card, whatever it is, I'll just sell it, and I'll sell it for a lot, as if like there's somebody who will want to buy that card. But what if we just never sell our cards again? Like, what if you bought in-season cards with the idea of, I have 1 year to get all of my money back and make some, hopefully. And if I don't, all right, then I just do it all again next year. And we just hold these cards forever. Like, the idea that we can sell them is great. And like, we can sell a lot of our cards, not nearly for how much we bought them for. But I just don't think that we're putting in enough thought into how we win now. And like, I was going to make Harry and I did it. What was that, last week? We were like, oh, you could spend $50 and win $1,000 in Contender in-season limited. And if you spend $50 for that lineup and have the opportunity to win $1,000 every single weekend for half a season even, and let's say you didn't win $20,000 from those lineups, but you'd won a little bit, like, those cards gave you the opportunity to win like big money. And yet at the end, it feels like a lot of people are, you get to the end, they're like, all right, I'm ready to like get my money back now from these cards that gave me the opportunity to win thousands of dollars, whether I did or didn't. And I just wonder if we, like, this idea, I think there's a very negative not even an undertone because we're saying it out loud. There's a negative feeling from a lot of people that, and it's kind of like, so we're just expect us to spend new money every single year. And the answer is yes, but also we're supposed to spend that money after a year of trying to win money. Like, that's the whole point of in season now, is you play in season, maybe not necessarily to like keep buying more cards or at least throughout the season or withdrawing, but maybe you keep winning throughout the season so that when the next season comes, you have a bankroll to keep playing. Like, that's the cycle. It's not let me win in season cards and then go buy classic cards or go buy a new car. Like, obviously the game mechanic is so that the money stays in. Like, that's the whole point. But there's an idea that if you're playing in season, and I think this is basically the way the game is going to happen. And everyone who focuses on classic is obviously going to be very upset about this because the cycle doesn't work for them now. But like, the point of in season is not let me buy, like, a successful in season strategy is not let me pour in a bunch of money in August, play a whole season, and then pour in a bunch of new money in the following August. Hopefully, if you're successful, you win money throughout the year, and that's the money that you use for the following year. All right, sorry. I'm going to catch up here. John Andrews said cheap stacks would be like being a San Marino fan, getting used to not winning and learn to accept it, but you will have your day eventually, probably. Major NFT said, this isn't a shill, but spending more time on Sorare data has really helped me get my gallery under control. Like, I will shill Sorare data because I really don't believe people like having a realistic view of like how much value they're getting out of that site in terms of making you better at Sorare in so many ways. Boulder Crypto Sissy Dragon said, I buy and play awful stacks, but I play expecting awful results. My results is actually getting better. Great. Tom said, adapt or die. Major Entity said, I agree, Laird. It's also hard to change the way you play after years. Yeah. Yeah. But like, we have to. Josh said, it's a lot easier to say Sorare did me in than accept you made a continuous list of suboptimal decisions, but blaming yourself is the only way to improve. You don't have to blame yourself. Ben said, threshold is very easy, so all the players that are not very good no longer have their easy wins, so now they moan because they can't win with their skill level, which is harsh and probably fair. Bob said, being the number one Rio collector, the rewards I have won have already paid for the cards I bought after being lucky with my essence pulls. Oh, it's fun. Oh, so Sorare helped you out? Major NFT said, sometimes you have to take the L and rethink your approach. On the flip side of prices going down, the easier to get players to target, or players you like, excuse me. Yeah. John said, you're collecting Ren because you enjoy it. This is a game and enjoyment has to be at the center of that. So what's funny about that, John, is like, I enjoy it. I think it's like, I do enjoy kind of like trying to get those cards, but I would also never do it if I started today. Like, that collection couldn't have been started at a worse time in terms of like what happened to Sorare after that. And like, my gallery would be so much better if I never bought that collection, just from a optimal lineup construction and gallery building point of view. Dan said, it's been great to hear about your passion is for collections. I think a lot of the problems is people appear to want to all be winners financially. And is that really the point of Sorare? No, it's not. I mean, yes, we would all love to be winners, but like you can't like yeah, just like not everybody can win. Ben said, won't be popular for Sorare to hear, but withdrawing my winnings makes me very happy. Seeing the money in my bank account is very validating that I'm doing good at the game. I don't think that's, I mean, yes, I'm sure Sorare don't love you withdrawing, but also if you brought the money back, like whatever. But also, that's the point of running a game is you are like, you can't as a platform you cannot expect everybody to take all of their winnings and put it right back into the site. And I think from like I think Sorare are in almost a very interesting spot that most of the money I think actually does stay on the platform. But you can't run a fantasy game that includes money and expect all of the money to stay. And so I think they would be happy for you that you have had success and you've been able, because of Sorare, been able to take that money and do whatever the hell you want. And if it's to buy more JPEGs, great. But if it's just to go out to dinner or go on vacation, whatever, that's great. Like, I think that's great. Yeah, Major NFT said, I tend to spend my winnings on more cards. Like, that's what I do. Like, that's why I don't necessarily think that putting the money back into the platform bad. And obviously, I appreciate that. Like, I am in a different position than a lot of people. That my livelihood depends on Sorare, and maybe that like clouds how I look at certain things. But like Sorare, like obviously I work for Sorare Data as my job. Playing Sorare is both my job and like a hobby. Like this, I really enjoy it. Like I love the game. I love like everything that I can do about it, and the football like leagues and teams and players that I've learned because of this platform is great. And so this is the hobby I would be spending my money on anyway. John said, I'm enjoying my road to reasonable mediocrity. Deanne said, I'm currently a big holder of So coins, retirement coming soon. How many So coins am I up to? 212,830. And the Dawn of Sorare just bought a card I was trying to bid on. Major NFT said, get ready when next year it will be in season fully. It's likely going to come. I don't think that's as drastic a change as many people think. Like there are actually a lot of lineups that have 5 in-season cards anyway. And my hope is that Sorare recognize how that looks from a classic point of view. Because as we've learned, perception is reality. And I think people would perceive that as basically classic is dead. Major NFT said, I do in-season comps being in-season cards only. And I agree that preseason sales worked and they have a new model. Yeah. It's a great line from Josh. It's like trying to sell a losing lottery ticket after the draw, which I'm pretty sure I used on a stream once. I'm almost certain I did. And so I'm going to take credit for it. Bogdan said, people are just used to winning something without really putting in any effort and feel entitled to win something because they spent some money on any type of card. Like, I think there is a sense of entitlement. Like, I spent money on this, so I deserve whatever it is that they think. And that I just struggle with that. I'm not somebody who deals in absolutes. Like, I appreciate that there are gray areas to a lot of things. But there are also times where I really struggle just to understand why people see things a certain way. And that's like just the way that I am in life, that I struggle. I don't struggle with this, but like I really try to live by some sort of mantra that I can't get upset over things I can't control. And then if I can control them, then I just do whatever I can to change those situations. And a lot of the complaints that I see in Sorare are are based on things people can't control. And they get really upset about it without addressing the things they can control. And like I said, like I don't think that way. And so I try to listen, I try to really listen to like people who are upset about the game. My problem is that I really struggle to put myself in their shoes. Not because my gallery is worth more than I put in, which I don't even think is true anymore. Not because Sorare success you should mean Sorare data success, which means I get to stay employed and continue to have the best job I've ever had. So I really try to understand why people are upset. But I also find that a lot of those people are completely unwilling to hear anything. And that's where I'm struggling here. Sorry, catching up. Investor said I couldn't play Sora without Sora data, period. Using Sora data is me much more successful. I hope so. Mike said at the end of the day, one person hits confirm on a card purchase and it's not so rare. Yeah. Toby said, speaking of Sora data, any chance you can add filters somewhere for Champions League, Conference League, and Europa Conference? I think that's what it says. No, whatever. Or even just add the competitions in the game week when they're special, so we have the filter that way, trying to plug holes. I think the problem is that the teams change throughout the season. Not that we can't, but I know what you're saying, Toby. We'll talk about that. Investor said Sora needs to be seen as poker. Some people lose, others win, and Sora is the casino. I don't think it's quite that. I don't think it's quite like that, but I get what you're saying. Sports and Memes said, that's a fun name. Thanks for coming in. As in, you wouldn't start collections today, or that specific collections? I wouldn't start that Ren collection today. That Ren collection started because I have a completely unexplainable love for Benjamin Bourigeaud from Ren, and his jersey mint was on the market. And I think it was at a price at the time that looked really attractive. I did play Champion, and he was quite good. And so I bought it, and maybe collections started after that. And I think the collection is really cool. It has a lot of active players in it. And maybe there was another jersey mint. Like it took one or two, and I was like, oh, let me just go for it. And then I went and wildly overpaid for a lot of jersey mints and one-ofs from that collection. And then Sorare changed the game on me and made those cards worthless. Oh, I'm just kidding. But yeah, now I'm the number one. So to prove how, like, I shared this with somebody the other day. So I'm 4 cards short now. And to prove how bad of an idea this was, I'm first on the list with 800 points, and next is 520, because like who is going to collect this collection? But yeah, there are 4 goalies in the collection. None of them start right now. And then the 2 that I'm missing, Alfred Gomes has a long-term knee injury, and Alandar also has a torn ACL. But I'm missing those 2. Shout out to Tuggy, who got me this Pepe Bonnet yesterday. He is a backup for a promoted team in Ligue 2. And I believe Romain Salin is long retired. But I'm missing just these 2 goalies, and then Mathis Tell and Guerassi from Dortmund, who's very expensive, and Tell is very hard to get because there are just not that many of his cards. And it's an older collection, and so a lot of these cards were purchased back when they came out, and those people have since left the platform. So I like the collection a lot, but yeah. Malky said, how would you start today, Laird, with an average-ish budget, say $500? I would focus on limited in season. And I think the easiest path to winning is in Contender. I that's just the way that I think, though. Like, I think the benefit of Contender is because there are so many teams, there are a lot of different ways to win. Whereas if you focus on one of the leagues, La Liga, Bundesliga, Prem, it's just much tougher to do it. Or even in like Challenger, with how many PSV cards there are in Challenger, it's very difficult to compete with them. And the openness of Contender, I really like. The biggest issue I'm coming upon now, because I play in-season rare Contender, and I was going to do limited. I play in-season Challenger, and I basically don't play Champ or U23 really. And there just look to me like there are more paths to winning in Contender, and that's why I like it. But the problem is that I get a lot of Contender essence, and so then when I craft like low level, what do we call milestones? When I hit tier 5, T5 or 4, I'm most likely getting a Contender card, and so I'm actually, unfortunately, accumulating essence where I don't like. I could use more Contender cards, but obviously the financial upside of like winning a Champ card versus a Contender card is much higher, and so I don't know what I will do, but I would play in season limited with $500. Dan Casey said, my hope is they don't do that with one classic card. The backlash has been bad enough already. It seems a reasonable way to say the old cards have utility for the longevity of the career. So I think I agree with you, Dan. Like, I completely agree with you that it's like the one sliver that we have for classic cards that are able to win cash. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they did it. And this whole, like, the backlash has been bad enough already. Like, they're months away from from announcing that would be a change. And who knows what the landscape will be then. But yeah. Dan said, I'm thinking I'm putting $1 billion on Sorare because I want to be a millionaire really bad, but it might be less than millions. Ben said, I only use a classic card in season if a card I like has a classic forward card and an in-season mid. Yeah, I do the same thing. Hilo said, this is the issue of not calling Sorare a gambling platform. It's literally gambling with a new age skin on it. And Hilo said, investors feel entitled, gamblers do not. So this line would make me think that it's definitely not a gambling platform, because everybody feels like they're an investor and they are really entitled. HB said, coming from the FIFA Ultimate Team community, I prefer winning cards over money. I'd rather win a high value card and sell it than win money. Just more fun for me. So I get that. The issue is that it's actually easier to win the fiat amount, the cash amount of your high value card than to win the high value card. If that makes sense. Like, I won Contender Rare in season Division 2 recently, and I won $600. I won Classic Division 2 2 weeks earlier and won a card worth $50. 2 first place prizes. One of them was 3x the reward. And I right away was able to use that cash on this Ren collection, just light it right on fire. It was great. What if Classic was card only rewards? In season was money only. I think a rebalance fixes it. That was the idea at first. Like, that was the idea. Use Classic cards to win in-season cards. Use in-season cards to win cash. Easy. And then they introduced Essence in-season and totally flipped the table. Like, I think the boxes are just backwards. I think in-season boxes should be in Classic and vice versa. Like, I think market credits should go to people who play Classic because it helps them buy in-season cards. And I think level ups should be an in-season because for the number of people who are playing the same lineups, having an opportunity to boost their cards for in-season competitions makes more sense to me than the number of classic cards that are competing now that are already on level 20. MDG said, I really think that Classic is not dead and that they will work on the situation. But one burn mechanic where I could give my old Sorloth and get 20, 40, or 50% of his money back would be the way. Why would Sorare want you to do that? And then use this money to buy in-season cards. So but you're using their money. Sports and Meme said, what does Contender look like after the Asian seasons are over? It's Austrian Bundesliga, Liga MX, Argentina Superliga. Like those both follow more of a European calendar. Croatia, what else is there? All the second division, 2 Bundesliga, La Liga 2, Serie B, Russian Premier League for those of us in, although it might as well be a summer league. They barely play in the winter. And then all the random South American ones and Central America, Peru and Ecuador, Chile, whatever. Oh, and China. Duh. Peter said, it feels like a different world seeing Tell Cards auction having gone for over 2K. Yeah, it was a different world. So more roads to glory in Contender. Yeah. Toby said, I could see the argument in going in-season Bundesliga or La Liga if you start with 500. Keeps your essence pure for champ as well, but I agree that Contender with 500 is probably the easiest to make a profit. But also, if you don't want to deal with all of the Contender leagues, then don't. It's okay. The game is easier to find, the direction that you want to play is easier than ever. Anion said, I think the one card should stay because it opens up a nice strategic advantage with other cards like Verts or soon with Saka and Palmer. And Dean said the 5 in-season coming soon, probably that in-season goalkeeper price would probably go up. So it's actually funny because using an in-season goalkeeper, I believe is way more optimal than using a classic goalie. Way more. Josh said, I do think part of the transition we've gone through is from a pyramid scheme towards a more stable model. There's a limited amount of money that we all compete for each season. It's funny you say that because somebody called it a pyramid scheme the other day, that they said the in-season is pushing this towards a pyramid scheme. And it was like, no. That's actually pushing us away from the pyramid scheme. Kenny said, I think switching market credits from in-season boxes to classic would help a ton. Incentivizes and helps classic players progress to in-season and helps replace that threshold feeling of liquidity. Totally agree. Ben said, having market credits in in-season made it so I spent Sorare's reward money. If it was in classic, I would probably need to deposit my money. What? Why is that different? Sorare Juju says Croatia. Do you think this means Sorare Juju's in Croatia and I have to add them to the map? Dan said, I had a thought over the weekend. I'm not sure it's new. Has the debate ever been about a 6-player or a sub in pro competitions? Sorare have more cards locked into lineups and we get less DMPs. It's been had for, yes, it's been spoken about. Maybe not recently. I see a lot of people talking about SO11, which I think would literally be the beginning of the end of the platform. there feels like this incredible concern by a lot of Sorare managers about new managers or lower budget managers or people who just don't have big galleries. And they're like, want to do what's best for them. And then they talk about stuff like SO11, which is just puts them at a massive disadvantage, like insanely massive disadvantage. Anyway. Sorry, just catching up. Deanne said optimal in season is play 5 in season cards. I actually don't think that's true. Particularly with some of the bonuses on, like I played a level 20 card, like 15% bonus card in an in-season lineup the other day, and there really aren't that many in-season cards that have that kind of bonus. Josh said, that's a really interesting observation. If you get market with a card reward. Both of them are so rare as money. One of them you can remove. Like I not having market credits in classic, I don't understand. Rob said if people can't compete in SO5, they have no chance in SO11. Yeah, it's like I really don't. The only positive to SO11 for some people is that it allows them to use their cards. The problem is that they're going to use those cards to get absolutely fucking blasted down the leaderboard. Apologies for swearing. Red Devil said if they flip the essence boxes around, it would fix 90% of the issues. Having permanent cap modes would resolve issues with no use for tier 4 and 5s. The biggest issue with adding now cap modes is we're taking rewards from other competitions. Some sort of ghost said, can we see percent captain in the Game Week Center impact players section? I guess. I mean, you could just see like if you go to the impact players, and it's actually easier to see on the mobile app now, but like you could see like 2 players if they had the same number of cards. Whoever has the higher impact score, like that one likely was captain more, or there was just more XP on those cards. Major Empty said, I think an SO11 special would be fun for collections. And Sorare Juju said they should do an SO11 special, a sub special, etc., so we can all see for one game week how bad it is. So I actually think the problem with that is, and unless they continue to make the specials, the rewards for specials very, very good. Like if people go into that special thinking that the rewards are not going to be that great, people who could absolutely dominate SO11 are not going to put their best lineups in there. And so when they do that, they're still probably better than most other people's lineups. But if the whale types are not winning those things, then there's this whole like, oh, maybe it is a good idea, when actually it was just because they didn't prioritize it. And then when they do prioritize it, then now we're all dead. Dan said, it's interesting with the SO6 thing I spoke about. It's because I've got a Rodri I paid like $1,000 for, but he's an injury doubt. So I kind of can't use him right now without risking killing the week. So every time you add a card to a lineup, whether it's a regular card or whether it's in the lineup or a sub, you're making it harder for people who don't have many cards and much easier for people with lots of cards to win. So I hope that they, like, I think people need to like really realize that, like, if you're like somebody who's really passionate that like SO11 should exist, look at the best 11 that you can put out, and then just take 10 other people from the chat even, and take their best 11 and like, can you beat them with your best 11? Like, I don't even have great cards, but I have better 11 than a lot of people on the platform. Samuel said, "Did you know Ren have made a documentary about Borgio after he left the club? Should be on YouTube in a week or so." Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Diogo said, "I think a burn mechanic will need to exist sooner or later, or else classic cards will decrease value every season. Card numbers are not going to decrease. We are just delaying the inevitable." Diogo, if you have a burn mechanic that makes sense outside of just burn cards and everything else is worth more, because that doesn't make sense, then I would love to hear it. Sports Meme said, "I love market critics. Incentivized me to sell classic cards and convert to in season." ZM Star said, "I wish they would do some stuff they're doing for MLB, just throwing ideas out and seeing what happens for 1 week comps." I mean, the tackler special and this stupid fighting one. I think that's kind of like they took that from MLB. DN said, "Remove the credits from referrals." I haven't been involved in the referral stuff for a while, but I assume it's still quite easy to take advantage of it. Holty said, "Take rewards from rivals." I don't think the rivals rewards are changing the game much. Fred the Almighty said, "I don't want to be that guy, but surely tier 4s and 5s should be unusable." I think they should be usually unusable. DN said, "SO11 is really cool. I want more DNPs." Diogo said, "Tier 4s and 5s should not be unusable. Might as well just not reward them. If that's the point, no use equals no value. Might just offer 2 boxes instead." They're super important for collections, though. I do wish that there was a way for us to like more likely get a card that we have a collection for, to win a like rewards, like other people winning tier 4s and 5s of cards that I have collections for. Like me buying from the secondary market is so bad for collection score that I do wish it was easier to like win cards that you have collections. And the response is like, "Oh, well, then um, you won't buy those cards." But like I buy cards to like try to do better in SO5 and then like potentially win all of the, win collection pieces. Smooth Boy said, "A question of 90% of the time I win rare essence from Bundesliga champion, but sometimes I get essence from global. What are the chances of getting a player outside of champion or Bundesliga?" Thank you. I don't know. Like I'm sure there's somewhere in the blog there they kind of said it, but the fact that we like can't track exactly where our essence is coming from, or I guess we could track it, but we can't. Like Sorare doesn't show it to us. Ryan said, "SO11 is only fun until the game week kicks off, and then the big accounts make the most of their massive advantage." So also, it's not even SO11; it's SO15 because people want 4 subs, like a sub for each position. And then, like, hey, now that's 3 lineups. Would you rather 3 lineups or 1? And said I couldn't do an 11-man stack, so I'd be screwed. Why can't you? Toby said, "I actually think rivals." Oh, that's something on. Mike said, "You know where we could try SO11 SD leagues? We are not bringing those back, but those were really fun." And guess who won all of those? The Whales. Yeah, Ryan, exactly. SO11 is fun until the Whales are at the top. Peter said, "How much essence would you spend for a tier 5/DNP tier 5 in the factory?" Honestly, Peter, I would probably spend 20 essence if I could guarantee it for a collection of mine. 10 essence, 20 seems like a lot, but no, maybe 20 is the right number because it's like, do I really want to do this? It is a free card for my collection. That's an interesting question. Toby says none, though. MDG said one idea is that so I prefer to pay a little bit more to have more collection bonus. So I buy the card on the instant buy. At this point, if I pay 20 euros, if I burn this card and get 13 back, I could invest my gains during the season and buy a new card. Why would Sorare give you $13, 13 euros back? Like, why does that make sense for Sorare? Just Heat wants to buy Essence from other people. Josh XL said, classic collections are a problem I think needs solving. It should be okay moving forward now. We're getting more special cards. But as it is 5%, it's pretty much locked off for most collections. Sorry, hold on. It should be moving forward now that we're getting more special. So I think they should do like collection contests. Like I think a special weekly where like all of your whole lineup has to come from the collection, or maybe 4 cards from a collection. That's totally selfish of me saying 4 cards, because the problem with this Ren collection is that there are 0 starting goalkeepers. Like there were these, like Gomes was supposed to start this year and then hurt his knee, and Alamdar I think was supposed to go on loan, but like I couldn't make a lineup with this team because there's no goalie. But like I would love to, like when for the anti-stack special. What game week was that, guys? Like I played a full collection. Like I made like a suboptimal lineup because what game week was anti? Oh, here it is. Perfect. Where's this lineup? Oh, did I hide it? Because I was so angry. Hold on. Yeah. Like this is the anti-stack special. Anti-stacks? All from the collection. Like I think a collection contest, classic collection contest would be fun. And specifically make it a classic contest because like the number of people who are buying just in-season collections. Like I like the idea of 5 cards that look like they're from the same team, but they're actually not. This also looks like De La Cruz and Julian Alvarez had their shirts bleached, but Palavecino and Martinez didn't. Tough laundry day for the kit guy. Anyway, I wish they did more for collections. I agree, because I have found it very fun, and damn it, I want to get something out of it. Limpy said I'm still on schedule for 2 hours. I wasn't planning on doing. Ricardo said, what if the classic comps are tied to the number of classic cards minted? For example, if there are 10,000 classic Champ EU cards, Champ EU will be SO6 for 15,000 SO7, etc. So each season it increases. Again, like I understand how you're looking at it, that you're like, I just want to like use more cards, but you are going to be put at a massive disadvantage if you don't have hundreds or thousands of cards. Like you need like outlier performances from 5 players in order to beat everybody else. And now you're asking for 7 outlier performances, or 10 or 11 or 15. Like Tom said, SO11 with subs, people with full PSV stacks win, people complain, nothing changes. Yeah. Ryan Dino said, "Can we please put out a call? Can we please put a call out for someone to compare classic season rewards with the rewards previously given out?" People really love this burning cards for Essence, MDG said Sorare already has his income, which I assume meant from the buying the card for 20 euros and then selling it back for 13. But like Sorare has your 20 euros. Now they'd like you to spend another 20 euros. They don't want to give you 13 more and get their card back. Getting the card back doesn't do anything. Tradable essence is a cool idea. I don't know what the legal implications are that. I haven't seen where essence is in the legal code. Man, sorry, my chat keeps like kind of refreshing and then not. Bogdan, there's no way you're getting a 5% bonus for a classic collection. Now, nobody will sell you special cards or one-offs. You are completely wrong about that. There are if you go to the market right now and you just click on jersey mints, like for the high profile ones, yeah, maybe not. But they're like the number of jersey mints that are available on the secondary market. Like here is a Simone Mignolet jersey mint. One of the most popular goalies on the entire platform. And his jersey mint from the 2022-23 season is the floor price right now. Which if I didn't already have one, I would buy. Like every one of these. And not to say that these are all great, but like, oh, this Benfica collection is actually really good. So this is a Grimaldo jersey mint. There was an Otamendi rare jersey mint on the market too, because I saw it there. Maybe it was a different season. Jedson's good. Jota's back. Darwin. Yeah. But anyway. Like every single one of these is a jersey mint. Surely there's a collection somewhere that somebody wants, right? Like there's a Pedri jersey mint right now available on the market. Kamavinga jersey mint. Like they're out there. Do you have to overpay? Yeah, jersey mints are more valuable or more expensive for sure. Ben said Celtic SO11 would be insufferable for real. Halogen says, here's what I would do with rewards. Move all boxes to classic, completely remove tier 5 rewards, except division 5 maybe. Add one more thing to boxes. Oh, it's a 1 of 2. Hold on. Maybe add market credits to classic rewards, bring back coins, make them purchasable and used for cosmetics. I don't know why removing tier 5 rewards is necessary. That's actually what everybody's complaining about, the fact that you can't win. Like, there are not enough rewards. And like, if you get more rewards, they're going to be tier 5s. Just Heat said, I still think Essence would only be won from competitions, not purchased. So Sorare still controls the supply, but could use Essence in trade so that players could get the exact cards they want instead of crafting. I think tradable Essence is a really cool idea. Lairdinho said, someone on Twitter a while ago had won a shirt and had their collection cards printed around the edge of the wall display. That was pretty cool. That drives collections too if there are special rewards. It does feel like collections are being ignored though. Yeah, it feels like they're being ignored, which is funny because like every so often they're like, oh yeah, we have collections. Hey, collection event. Sorry, just catch up on the chat here. Josh XL is trying to sell a jersey mint Saman Godos. I wonder who that is. Mike said, I bought an Anderson Lopez rare Sapporo jersey mint on Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, that Apple Camp jersey mint is fun. I used to own an Anderson Lopez card. Fraxi said, tier 5s are useless now, but could be hidden gems for the future. Obviously not what you want to get, but certainly something that could benefit in the long run. Nobody thinks about the long run. Dan Casey said, surely the problem with tradable essence is you could get to 500 relatively easily, and then the star supply would be eliminated. So, like, the issue is that you... because people just, like, stack it. But then, like, the people they got it from are not crafting cards. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, if anybody... Yeah, Essence, but Sorare take 5%. Essence trading would surely get exploited somehow. Yeah, that's fair. Josh said they wouldn't do tradable Essence because it allows people to assign it a value in real money. So entering Essence then gets far closer to gambling. That's funny because I remember when coins came out and there was such a push to, like, try to figure out how much each coin was worth. And I remember, Andy, you might remember, was it Surface who, like, got a jersey from coins? And he's like, okay, so the jersey's worth this. And so that means each coin is worth that. And then they never did anything for coins ever again. Rico Mon said, can you make it so the team selection on the live market does the card team and not the current team of the player? I'm sure we could. If you could just email support@soraredata.com with that, they would be happy to get right on top of that. Toby said, Essence from Classic untradeable. Essence from in-season is tradable just to make it more complicated. Mike said, what about burning Essence so you can get rid of the regional Essence to ensure you get a card from where you want it to? I love that idea. Let me burn my Contender Essence, get half the value. Like, let me burn 300 Contender Essence to get 100 Champ Essence. Hell yeah. Love that. MDG said, so the in-season cards next season will be classics, right? Like this season's in-season will be classics. And if classics are dead, we just give money to Sorare. Yes, that's correct. So it was like FIFA. This is not meant to be this game. There's no, like, the game was not, there's no meant to be. Just Heat said, collection events seem like an afterthought to give away extra jerseys at the end of the season than something planned out and thoughtful. I do believe that. So somebody was saying that they wanted, like, jerseys in boxes more often. And I think it was Paul on Sorare. It might not have been on Twitter. I mean, Paul from Sorare on Twitter was basically like, they're too valuable. But then it does also feel like they have so many of them at sometimes. Like, the jersey situation is weird. Yeah. Sorry, the chat is just filled with ideas about trading Essence and all this stuff. There's so many Essence questions. They also give away jerseys a lot to, like, third-party sites to give away. Sports and Meme said, why is everyone so pessimistic? Classic isn't as bad as everyone makes it out to be. That's literally Monday's show with PSU fans 2 and Nepenthes and me. Cumry said, I bought a full St. Pauli collection. They denied me when I asked for a ticket, then gave a few to Nellis. Fucking Nellis, man. Just getting all the cool stuff that we deserve. That's right, Toby. Don't forget to like the stream, please. How many likes are we up to, guys? I see 112 people right here. 57 likes. Half of you are a little pissed off. I get it. All right, I got a couple more minutes. I don't want to go 2 hours. Must just be a grumpy community for real. I don't know. I need this international break to stop. I really don't want I realized I could have finished 5th in specialist this midweek, but I swapped my goalies for some reason and didn't win anything. No, that's not true. Looking for a food said you should bring in new guests that don't remember the old Sorare, like that don't remember or that weren't here. I don't know. But yeah, the conversation on Monday is going to be about Classic. And admittedly, it's going to be very pro Classic because Sean and Nep are very pro Classic. However, they also think very differently about Classic. Sorry, it was a loud motorcycle outside. Yeah, like Nep obviously is a huge collection guy, and Sean thinks they're dumb, legitimately. And so I think part of it is that collections are much more powerful in limited, which Sean doesn't really pay attention to. And I think he won limited U23 on like some dead game week recently. And so now he thinks he's like a limited expert. And he's like, I didn't have any collections there. And so I hope it's interesting because I really appreciate how they each play the game, and they both kind of focus on similar things while not playing it at all similarly. Yeah. This is an interesting question. Rob said, for everybody in the chat, how long have you been on the platform? Interested to see if there are a lot of old players from 2020 or 2021. That is interesting. I don't know how to map that, though. By the way, last chance to get in on the map. If anybody sees a dot where they live but are not there. Toby said I did get my Houston 2023 collection over 500 today. You should have done. Did you do it this morning, Toby? Because they obviously play this game week. Toby said I've been on for 13 months. Is that it, Toby? That's shocking to me. Legitimately shocking. Yeah, the no dots in Spain does feel weird. Oh, Hilo. DN says I'm in Botswana. Wow. I'll add it. Oops. Bots. There it is. Add to map. Oh, Reykjavik. There we go. Now we're talking. Thank you, guys. Wait, I missed one. Hilo is in Dallas. Do you know Germ? Sweden, let's go. Josh excels. When did prices stop rising? That's when I joined. NDG in Leipzig. Yeah, we'll finish off. Did I miss one? Dallas, Botswana, Reykjavik. If anybody knows somebody in Spain and they can just tell them to like log in. Oh, Diogo's in Porto. Let's go. Now we're exposing Andy Black. Spain people have a Northern Irish dot, please, says Lairdinho. Skozer said the pin in Reykjavik was scarily close to my house. Just a Northern Irish dot. Sure. Where do you think it puts it? Ooh. Oh, right on the water. Some lake. Maybe it's a river. Professional library. Well, there's our map. That's fun. There it is. What's an unprofessional library? I was thinking, yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. Good point. Anyway, that's where everyone is. And I'm here to say goodbye. Really appreciate everybody coming in, sharing where you are so we could make this very cool map. So yeah, if you have not liked the stream, please do so. If you could please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. Seems like a long time to be watching something like this and not subscribe to the channel. Don't cost nothing. So anyway, thank you for doing that. And I'll be back on Monday, like I said, with PSU Fans 2 and Nepenthes. Tuesday, I'm trying to get Quinny on. Maybe with Harry, maybe not. And then, yeah, we'll see where the week takes us after that. Actually, I have another idea for Wednesday at Sorare Andrews Thursday. And then, hey, it's just you and me next week on Friday. That's it. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Good luck to everybody participating in Sorare this weekend. I barely am. I hope you win everything and that we can all just love Classic again. Thanks, everyone. Good luck.